I don't know how many people are joining right now because I don't have visibility of the participants, but I'll just start with a very quick introduction. My name is Todor Raykov. I'm the Director of Venture Services at NextFab, and this is the graduation of the RAPID Hardware Accelerator program powered by KPMG Spark. So NextFab is a pre-seed stage hardware-focused investor and a product development center in Philadelphia. We specialize in helping companies create and commercialize physical products. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can think of us as an extension of your company. And to give an example or illustrate what exactly we do, I just grabbed a few pictures from our website. So in this particular case, what we are seeing are some prototypes of a device that was developed by some medical students. So they came up with this idea for a smart LED night light that can be used in hospital settings. So they came to us and they worked with our product development team, and we helped them combine the looks-like prototype and the works-like prototype into a device that was used in critical pilot studies. We've seen many similar cases like this one, where a startup outsources the product development work to our team and focuses on fundraising and acquiring new users. And if you'd like to learn more about this particular case and others, you can go to the productdevelopment.nextfab.com website, where you can learn more about the great work of my colleagues from the product development team at NextFab. But what really differentiates NextFab from other product development centers out there is our hardware accelerator program. So we launched this in 2016, and so far we have worked with 41 companies. We've provided them with capital, access to prototyping equipment, technical expertise, and introductions to resource providers. Since the start of the pandemic, our accelerator cohorts have been virtual, but the entrepreneurs participating in this program can still work with our product development team and use prototyping resources available at NextFab. And we run the program twice per year, and we're very fortunate to have some great partners supporting this effort. In particular, I would like to recognize KPMG Spark and UPS for all the help they have provided to the companies and us in running this program. I'm not sure if Zoe is here from KPMG. If she's here, it will be great to hear some of her thoughts about her experience and her team experience with working with entrepreneurs in the program. Again, I'm not able to see Zoe right now. So Zoe, if you're here, it will be great to hear from you later, maybe during the roundtable sessions. And so I think this cohort that we have right now, we have 4 teams. We believe that these folks are on track to build some great companies. They're bringing very meaningful improvements to the world. And each one of them, as you're going to see, they're going to present for about 8 minutes each. And they're going to answer some questions for about 2-3 minutes after each presentation. If you have questions for them, please feel free to submit these in the chat box. You also have the time to talk with them a little bit more after the presentations during the virtual table sessions. So I definitely encourage you to send your questions here and also connect with them after the event. And with that, I would like to invite the first presenter, and this is Naren from Pristine.
All right, bringing Naren up right now.
How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second. All right, great. It's great to meet everyone. Thank you for having me on stage. My name is Naren Inukoti, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pristine. Pristine allows busy people to always look and feel their best by providing them with a quick and cost-effective way to clean and de-wrinkle clothes anytime, anywhere. So let's meet Emily. She's a 25-year-old woman living in a bustling city like New York City, and between work and play, her schedule is always packed. She's wearing clothes much faster than she can clean them, leaving her with a never-ending dirty pile. What frustrates her the most is that about 20% of the clothes in their dirty pile are actually unwearably dirty, while the vast majority just need to be refreshed. Unfortunately, the only way she can clean those clothes today are by taking them to the laundromat or dry cleaner. And both of these options are not only time-consuming and expensive, but also shorten the lifespan of our favorite garments. What Emily really needs is a quick way to refresh her clothes so she can easily and confidently rewear them. Pristine is the solution that allows Emily to refresh and rewear her favorite clothes. Our kiosk de-wrinkles, deodorizes, disinfects clothes in just 10 minutes for $10 a month, unlimited cleanings. So suddenly, Emily's options for her night out have increased from clean clothes in her closet she doesn't like to wear to 20 of her favorites in a pile that can be reworn after a quick refresh with Pristine. She can do all of that by just finding the closest kiosk in our app, which in this case happens to be in our apartment building, and then schedule a time. She then brings her 3 garments down and follows on-screen instructions to start the cleaning process. Once the process is finished, she receives a notification that her fresh clothes are ready to pick up. It's just as easy as that. So our beta launch with 5 offices and residential multifamily apartment buildings has been incredibly successful. We have an NPS score of 87, 70-day, 30-day retention, and a 4.9 out of 5 customer satisfaction rating. Our service has become the preferred clothing care option for 155 monthly active users that's growing 30% month over month. We're already seeing an increase in kiosk usage due to people returning to the office and business travel resuming. So our customers today include influential real estate companies. They collectively own thousands of properties in the United States. And we've completed a number of successful pilots, and our goal is to expand throughout their portfolio and become the must-have amenity in every residential multifamily building. So real estate companies like Greystar and UDR, they know that to attract renters, it's important to build an eco-friendly community. So Pristine real estate managers offer residents a better way to take care of their clothes and promote sustainability. Our kiosk helps consumers extend the lifespan of their favorite garments, which can reduce carbon emissions and water usage by up to 30% just by increasing how long you keep it in your closet by 9 months. So for Pristine, cleaning is just the start. With every cleaning, our intelligent software on the kiosk in our app learns the garments, brands, colors, and fabric types that exist in a person's closet and how frequently they're wearing them, as well as cleaning them. And then Pristine visualizes that data for users so that they can make smarter shopping decisions, and also allows clothing retailers the ability to offer the correct incentives at the right time. So within the $65 billion global dry cleaning and laundry market, there's an online services segment, and that's expected to grow from $9 billion to $113 billion by 2027. And this projection indicates that people want to spend for convenience. Pristine aims to capture rapidly increasing demand, and by placing our kiosks in convenient locations, such as residential buildings, offices, hotels, laundromats, and gyms. And for us, that's a $4 billion annual revenue opportunity. Our team consists of people with years of experience working across software, hardware, and sales at top companies. So before starting Pristine, I was an engineer at Uber Eats. Rahul, our COO, was previously the co-founder of CoachCam, where he led business development. And then he also, before that, was an IBM consultant. Vishva, our CTO, who's been most active in the NextFab Accelerator, brings years of experience building airplane engines and managing supply chain with Pratt & Whitney. So our big announcement, we're excited to announce that we're rapidly scaling in New York City, and that's mainly in residential multifamily, but across other verticals as well. And that's going to 7x our footprint within the next 3 months. And with that, Pristine will be the fastest growing clothing care service in terms of number of locations. And that brings us just one step closer to creating a fast, convenient, and affordable experience for end consumers. So a world with Pristine in it will reduce the stress, time, and money required to look your best so you can focus on the more important things in life. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Naren. Yeah, if we have any questions for Naren, please just make use of the Q&A box there. All right. Well, here we go. How long does a cycle take? Dan and Kelsey ask.
Good question. 10 minutes. So we customize the cycle based on the fabric and garment type. And the fastest time is 10 minutes. And it can range to also 15 minutes if you have a thicker garment or fabric type, such as linen, that take longer to get out wrinkles.
How much does a locker cost, and what is your payback period?
Yeah, so our kiosk today costs us $5,000 to make. Obviously, with scale, that's going to decrease. And then our payback period in these residential buildings specifically is 10 months, and we're signing 5-year leases. So within the first 10 months, we're making back the money on the kiosk, and then everything after that is profit.
Cool. All right. Well, if we don't have any further questions for you, Naren, people can feel free to connect afterwards. Oh, sorry, I was just reading this next comment. Yeah, so we will have time in the networking space if any other questions come up. So thank you again, Naren, for joining us.
Yep, for sure. I think someone said something about revenue projections. I'll just briefly address that. This is just a presentation that's really higher level. I can totally send you an investor presentation later with all revenue projections and things specifically. If you can, my email's in my contact. It's Naren@pristine.com.
Great. And just a quick update. It seems like there is an issue with the registration link that people are using to join this session, and some people are getting an error message. Café are working to distribute the correct link to the folks who registered. So apologies for this, but folks, you're doing a great job pitching and presenting. So we're recording this session as well, and this will be distributed to the folks who registered for the event. So keep up the great work. And I think next we have Dan and Kelsey from Algenair.
Yep, bring in Dan and Kelsey to the stage.
Hey there, just quick. Sure, everything is. I'm going to try to present my slides here as well.
All right, yeah, we can see them.
Verification, great. Okay. Fantastic. That looks good. Okay. Hello, my name is Dan Fucich.
And I'm Kelsey Abernathy.
And we're the co-founders of Algenair. We help people grow algae so that they can live better. First, I'm going to start out by having everybody take a deep breath together and really take it. So we'll do a quick inventory of what we just put into our bodies, and more importantly, where did it come from? First, there's oxygen, which is great. But that oxygen, the only reason it is in the atmosphere is because of algae. Algae put it there in the Great Oxygen Revolution 2.5 billion years ago. There's also carbon dioxide, which isn't so good. In fact, the carbon dioxide levels inside of your own home can be 2 to 3 times higher than what is naturally occurring outside. And that is detrimental to your health. It causes respiratory problems, it causes headaches, and it destroys your mental clarity. That's at a time when respiratory health is at the top of everyone's minds. Modern energy efficient buildings don't do us any favors. In fact, they're doing just barely enough to prevent you from getting sick by letting in as little fresh oxygenated air inside and not letting carbon dioxide rich air out. So carbon dioxide and volatile organic compounds are accumulating, and we're breathing those in over the course of 8 hours during our work day or 8 hours when we're sleeping. And at Algenair, we know there's a better way, and that's why we made the Air. And it's the world's first natural air purifier that uses algae to clean the air we breathe. And it works with elegant simplicity. We take carbon dioxide rich air from inside of this room and we pump it directly into the area. And once inside, it meets millions and millions of algae cells. And those algae cells only have 2 jobs. They suck up CO2 and they release oxygen. And they do that as effectively as 25 houseplants. So we can ship an Arium to your doorstep for under $200. The alternative to that is that you have to go out to Home Depot, spend up to $300. And with that, congratulations, you just bought yourself a job, right? You have to water those plants, you have to care for those plants, and half of them are just gonna die for like no reason, right? The alternative, the Arium, is simple. You can do the same thing for the fraction of the cost, the time, and the space. And that's all possible with three distinct advantages. First, biology of our algae, the patent-pending technology we've developed around that biology, and our proprietary nutrient and algae shipping formulations. Now, first, we can't even take credit for this, frankly. It's just nature. The algae that we use in our device is orders of magnitude more efficient than any terrestrial plant at carbon dioxide sequestration. That's because those cells, number one, there's millions of them, but they don't have to pay money, energetically speaking. They don't have to put energy into building stems or roots to suck up water. They don't need support, and they're surrounded by their water source. So they can put all of their energy towards CO2 sequestration and oxygen production. Now, around that biological fact, we've built our patent-pending technology, which it's a series of valves and lights and pumps, and I'm not trying to downplay it. It's been years in the making, but what it all culminates to is a premium customer experience that makes it easy for anyone to grow algae with no prior knowledge of the subject. Working with this, we've got our proprietary nutrient formulation that maximizes carbon dioxide sequestration and a proprietary algae preservation technique that prolongs our shipping timing. We used to have to rush ship it for 48 hours. Now we can extend that actually to 4 weeks, which makes our subscription service very profitable. Now, that's all the magic that culminates into the Arium and what it is. The first column that supports our business model is direct sales platform algae.com. Now, to make sure that our customers are growing algae as efficiently as possible, we do offer a subscription service, which is $25 every other month. And with that, they get fresh algae, proprietary nutrients, and a hydrophobic top filter shipped right to your doorstep. It takes just 5 minutes to change, and after that, you can sit back and enjoy fresh, clean air for another 2 months. That's what people are doing quite literally across the country. We've got over 200 units out in the wild. It's sort of a paid beta test. They're improving people's lives as we speak. But that is just the beginning, because the Arium is a one-room solution for a whole house problem. As a molecular biologist, I've seen how algae can fundamentally transform this planet by putting oxygen into the atmosphere 2.5 billion years ago. And at Algenair, we're excited for it to improve our future, because we can scale up our patent-pending technology. We can clean larger volumes of air, so we can create buildings and entire floors with living, breathing algal installations. We can work with architects and building designers to make living, breathing buildings.
Naren is part of the $10.6 billion global air purifier. An emerging segment of this market space is natural air purifiers, which is the intersection of heavy filters and Inukoti. Because this is a relatively new space, there's limited market data available. Over 2 other natural air purifier companies.
Kelsey, sorry to interrupt you. We're having difficulties hearing you, so if you can come closer to the mic, this will be great. Sorry about that.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Okay. So the natural air purifier market sits at the intersection of HEPA filters and indoor gardening. Because this is a relatively new market space, there is limited data available. For 2 other natural air purifier companies have raised over $2 million in funding, indicating not only a strong potential for investment, but for this platform. We believe that the scalable technology used in the Arium can capture over $100 million in algal air. Our target customers are millennials who are purchasing plants to improve their indoor air quality. So 5 million new millennial indoor gardeners every year. The second is not just men aged 35 and older who typically already own indoor air quality monitors. We're attractive to these customers because of our complexity advantages. Traditional air purifiers can remove up to 2 factors, which means dust, mold, and bacteria. They cannot remove carbon dioxide. While houseplants and other natural air purifiers can remove CO2, but do little to nothing without particulates. The Arium does both. It has an inline filter that's 0.22 microns, which is superior to HEPA standards, and if you reduce carbon dioxide, you increase oxygen as effectively as 25 minutes.
Kelsey, if you can come even closer to the mic, this would be great. We actually don't really see you, even though you're standing in front of the monitor. So if you can just come as close as possible to the mic so that we can hear, this would be great. We see the presentation slides, but we don't really see you.
So the team that brought this product to market is Dan and myself. We both have PhDs in environmental molecular biotechnology from the Institute of Marine and Environmental Technology. We're also Radcliffe Environmental Entrepreneurial Fellows and have worked for multiple startups in the Baltimore area, focusing on fundraising and product development. We've raised over $125,000 in non-equity, non-dilutive funding to date to fund the development and launch of Alginate. We know we have weaknesses, so we've assembled a team of advisors and mentors who have guided us every step of the way, such as Ken Malone, our business advisor, who is a serial entrepreneur and has worked with us since day one. Rebecca Powell, our algae expert, who helped us with strain selection as well as optimization of nutrients. And Andrew Sherman, who's our manufacturing advisor, who's helped us from the prototyping scale to large-scale manufacturing. We've also partnered with 3 great American companies, American Bully Manufacturing, Spanner, and Arnold Packaging, to manufacture, assemble, package, and ship the product. We are thrilled to be working with NextFab. We did a rigorous design overview of the Arium with their design team and identified that our key problem area was in our electronics. So we're working with them to build a custom printed circuit board that will have a modular design allowing for sensor integration as well as IoT capabilities. This will take the Arium from an analog device to a digital device that allows for these plugins. With this, we'll offer an app for the IoT integration, so anyone who's an algae nerd can know everything they want to know about the Arium, from the health of the culture, the CO2 being removed, as well as the growth cycle. This is just the beginning. Algae will be integrated into our everyday lives through fixtures and architecture and installations in our home and office space. With your help, we can continue to grow and scale the Arium so that we can help people grow algae so they can live better. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dan and Kelsey. Yeah, if anyone has questions, please feel free to throw them into the Q&A. How many devices have you sold so far?
So we've sold just over 37 states and 6 countries.
Right. It seems like we don't have any additional questions right now, but if you folks have questions, you can join the virtual table that Dan and Kelsey will after the end of this presentation. Actually, we just got one. Jake, do you see it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Does it filter air in addition to generating oxygen?
Yes, so we reduce carbon dioxide levels and produce oxygen. It's a photosynthetic process, so just as you're reducing CO2, you're producing oxygen. We do have a particular particulate matter filter integrated into the device as well, so we are reducing PM 2.5 as well in a stringency that is actually higher than HEPA filtration. We have a 0.22 micron filter. HEPA filtration is 0.33 micron. At this moment, CO2 and oxygen, carbon dioxide reduction, oxygen production is our primary concern and the primary use for the device. But in future iterations, we're looking to increase particulate matter filtration and actually have user replaceable cartridges. That's something we're really excited for as well. I'm not sure if there was any other questions in the chat, but if there isn't, we'd love to talk to you at our virtual table. Really cool platform, and thank you guys so much for the time.
Oh, you know what? We do just have one more question here. What about humidity? Does it or could it also work as a humidifier?
There's some evaporation that does take place over the 2-month growing cycle, but it's not a primary use case for the device. There's some evaporation, but it's not a humidifier by design. If there is any evaporation, you can go ahead and just dilute further down with more distilled water.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you for those questions.
Yeah, folks, can you stop sharing your presentation and just show the device to folks in the
Absolutely.
image view next to the area? But yeah, that's much better.
Oh, sorry. Moving all over the place.
Yeah, so it's now we can get a better idea of the size of the device.
Dance scale.
Yes, scale. So it's a single-top unit right now, and in the future we can scale this technology so that we can actually have algal installations integrated into architecture, so that you can plug into the HVAC system, and just like you have a physical membrane filter, you'll also be filtering your air with a biological filter, namely the most efficient being algae. So we're really excited for that.
Great. And it seems like the folks from Venture Café distributed the correct link to the folks who registered for the event, and we see a lot more people showing up. So thank you, Dan. Thank you, Kelsey, for this presentation. It was unfortunate that we were not able to hear it during a portion of it, but it was awesome to see the device. All right, so we can invite the next presenter. Is Vasco Vision. We have Savan, and we have Adarsh.
Bringing them on stage. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you?
All right, let me share my screen.
Cool. Yeah.
So hi. Are we good?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So hi, everyone. We're Vasco Vision and cardiovascular care for at-home use. So a little bit about ourselves. My name is Adarsh. I'm currently a rising junior at Penn studying computer science.
And my name is Savan. I'm also a rising junior at Penn studying bioengineering and finance.
And so our product Vasco Vision is targeting something called deep vein thrombosis, which is our short form of DVTs, which are blood clots that occur in the deep veins, usually in the arms and the legs. And the problem with these is that once these clots form, they can eventually detach and travel up through the circulatory system and cause severe conditions like pulmonary embolism that often result in death. And so just some background on like venous thromboembolisms. As many as 900,000 happen in the US each year, and unfortunately around 100,000 people die each year. And risk factors are pretty common things like pregnancy, being overweight, genetic predisposition, and even certain types of medication. And so this problem is so widespread and so deadly in the US. The main issue and why it hasn't been fully solved yet is because of there not being timely and effective diagnostic capabilities as it stands. Unfortunately, between 10 and 30% of people die within 1 month of being diagnosed with DVT because it's not caught fast enough. And even worse, oftentimes the first symptom of pulmonary embolism, which is a condition that results from DVT, is death. And despite there being a highly characterizable patient population, screening frequently with things like ultrasound is really impractical for a lot of physicians and patients.
So our solution to this problem is a patient-operated monitoring device for early detection of those DVTs in the lower limbs. So the device itself is a wearable sleeve that has embedded optical sensors in it. So the sensors you can see on the right-hand side are embedded in a fabric that slides up the leg, and these sensors are based on a technique called photoplethysmography. The device is designed for patient use. It has lots of different markers and cutouts that are making it easy for patients to utilize the device on a daily basis. And finally, the device interfaces with mobile devices or computers to enable subsequent algorithmic analysis. So we have some pictures of the device on the left-hand side on a patient leg, and on the right-hand side, you could see those sensors that we mentioned earlier. On the left-hand side, you can't see them because those sensors are embedded inside the fabric itself. So a little bit about the clinical workflow integration. The device process all starts on the bottom, where the physician prescribing the device to a patient that the physician deems to be at risk of developing a DVT. It's at that point that the patient would take the device home and be utilizing it on a daily basis for approximately 5 minutes a day. We liken the device usage to, for example, a hypertensive patient who has to take their blood pressure on a daily basis. So the data that the patient is collecting is then uploaded to our servers, which we then subsequently analyze to determine if the patient is developing any sort of blood clots or blood flow abnormalities. Once we do detect that blood clot or blood clot formation, we report that immediately to the physician so that subsequent steps can be taken to treat the actual DVT. So our three main value drivers are first that we're providing an early detection system for DVTs to preempt any severe conditions, including pain and swelling of the leg, and more importantly, PE or pulmonary embolism. The second is that we're a cost saver for insurance companies. DVTs, when they reach hospitals in severe states, can end up costing the hospital system and insurance companies up to $23,000 on average. So by preempting those costs and severe DVT development, by catching the disease early and treating it with a less severe regimen, we can save companies money. And third, we provide an integrated workflow that enables both hospital systems, but also private practices to engage with our platform and keep track of their patients.
So the main issue, like we mentioned before, is that the current market for diagnosing and screening for DVTs is not great. So the two main players are ultrasounds and D-dimer tests. And for ultrasounds, these are often located in hospitals and not available for commercial use because it's large, expensive equipment, and you often need a technician to operate it. And so because of this, we've spoken with physicians that having patients come in at a high frequency to get screening done is just impractical and too costly. And for D-dimer tests, as these things are mainly used when other options are really not available or there's some kind of severe case because they're not highly accurate, and for this reason, they're not really used for screening. So looking at the market, we've identified three main patient subgroups for which this would be a highly relevant product to use. These are high-risk pregnancies, obese individuals, and post-operative immobilized patients. And within each of these kind of market segments, we've identified like the main physician that we'd be contacting to prescribe the device and engage with our platform, whether it be an OBGYN for high-risk pregnancy or an orthopedic surgeon for an immobilized patient. And so our business model right now is to target high-risk pregnancies, as this is kind of the market we deem has the most need for a device and will be willing to use the device most. And so the high-risk period for pregnancy lasts the duration of the pregnancy, so 9 months, and then 3 months postpartum. So as of now, our business model we're planning is to rent the device out to women for a year and have them pay on a monthly basis to kind of amortize the costs and make it more affordable to more people. And this comes out to around $240 annually, again, through those monthly payments. And we're also currently investigating Medicare and reimbursement codes, such as chronic care remote physiological monitoring codes, to kind of make sure that this is something that's affordable to patients and accessible to patients through reimbursement with insurance. And so Savan and I have done a lot of research into key stakeholders who would be using the device, whether it be OBGYNs, maternal, fetal medicine physicians who are physicians who focus on high-risk pregnancies, and midwives who are obviously a very important part of the OBGYN space. And so we surveyed around 22 different stakeholders in these areas, and physicians said that they would prescribe the device to around 14.2% of all pregnancies, but this of course varies across demographics and risk levels. And overall, of all the people we surveyed, around 2/3 of them indicated that they would find the device useful and in their practice.
So a little bit about the future plans and where we have gotten so far. We developed our MVP, and we are currently patent pending. As of now, our main focus is running a clinical study with Penn Medicine to evaluate the efficacy of the device. And that's a process that we are currently working towards. In the future, we plan on taking the 510K clearance pathway for FDA approval and eventually commercializing the device. And lastly, we just wanted to thank our backers, especially NextFab for hosting and coming up with the RAPID Hardware Accelerator. And we'd be happy to take any questions now.
All right, I don't see any questions coming in just yet, but oh wait, here we go. Speak of the devil. How large does your clinical trial have to be for FDA approval?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in order to gain clearance in the 510K platform, we actually don't need to provide any efficacy data. They're primarily concerned with safety data and things related to, for example, biocompliance, reporting of data and things like that. The study is also validated for us. The study itself is 30 patients, and it's helping us determine whether or not the algorithm has sufficient statistical power. And from there, we then plan on submitting to the FDA with the associated safety tests. I think there was another question. So the technology, photoplethysmography, or PPG, as it's better known, is used in a lot of other scenarios in hospital settings. For example, PPG is the base technology / concept behind the pulse oximetry, which is the way we get like O2 concentration in the arterial system. It hasn't been used in this setting, so it's used infrequently for venous blood flow data, and it's definitely not used in any at-home setting. We're also taking kind of a systematics approach to it. So PPG signals are not collected as frequently as we are with the device, and they're not analyzed in the way that we're doing with the device. So that's kind of the innovative element there. And with regards to the predicate devices themselves, we're currently working with regulatory consultants to identify them. But since the base technology is widely used in other settings, we don't anticipate that being too much of an issue.
All right, it looks like we don't have any additional questions for you folks this time, but people will be able to ask you questions during the virtual table session. And of course, we just got one. What does the output or display look like?
Yes.
Yeah, so the data, go ahead, Adarsh.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so the data itself is actually just like a, like something you normally see like in signal processing. So it's just plotted on a graph. In terms of like what, and this is like what physicians would see, like this kind of plot along with summary statistics and things of that nature. But it's not like we're still focusing on the actual getting the study done before we move on to like the platform that's more, we feel commercial, that doctors will be eventually using.
All right, thank you so much, guys. And The next presenter we have today is Glennon Simmons from PD System.
All right, Glennon, come on up.
Hello.
Hey.
Trying to get my deck up here. Excellent.
Yep, we can see it.
Wonderful. All right. And we are off. So my name is Glennon Simmons, founder and CEO of Portable Diagnostic Systems, and we are reinventing drug testing. First, I want to tell you what I believe. Everyone driving on the road deserves to get to their destination safely, and that includes you and your family and me and my family. But every year, millions of people are injured or killed in auto accidents, and it's probably no surprise that drugs, other than alcohol, are playing an increasing role in these accidents. Just to put things in perspective, more than 12 million people reported that they drove under the influence of drugs last year. And in 2016, 43% of fatally injured drivers were positive for a drug, and more than half of those were positive for 2 or more drugs. Unlike alcohol impairment, determining if a driver is impaired by a drug is a scientific, legal, and medical challenge for law enforcement. The process starts with recognizing drug impairment, where only about 8% of law enforcement officers have advanced training to do this in a routine traffic stop. A roadside test could increase confidence in the arrest decision, especially when officers lack training. But the problem is the current roadside drug screening tests suffer from significant accuracy issues. A false positive might send someone to jail that hasn't committed a crime, and for this reason, law enforcement does not widely employ them. To date, the technology gap for roadside drug testing has not been filled, and Portable Diagnostic Systems aims to do just that. And that's why we created the Integrity One analysis system, a next-generation drug screening technology. The Integrity One gives law enforcement the ability to accurately determine the presence or absence of drugs in a driver's oral fluid in under 5 minutes, well within the time frame of a typical traffic stop. Not only that, but we are developing evidentiary quality drug tests that utilize whole blood derived from a finger stick that promise to bring the power of a toxicology testing laboratory to the police station, reducing long wait times for confirmatory analysis. This approach will save law enforcement both time and money, and through improved efficiency, and it's going to save lives on the roadway. At the heart of our system is a novel microfluidic cartridge that facilitates recirculation of both the sample and reagents over the sensor. This approach allows us to analyze small volumes of biological fluid with high accuracy and precision. Unlike competing solutions, low volumes are quick and easy to collect in the field. The microfluidic cartridge features a high-density microarray biosensor that allows us to make up to 100 simultaneous measurements, allowing for us to test for more substances simultaneously than any other competing drug platform on the market today. For select drugs, we're developing custom-engineered single-domain antibody reagents that are heavily screened against interfering substances during production. This leads to better accuracy and fewer false positives. Our preliminary drug test panel is one of the most comprehensive on the market and includes up to 12 drugs of high interest in DOID enforcement, as well as test and validity controls. We are working to expand our test menu to include more than 30 drugs recommended by the National Safety Council for the toxicological investigation of drug-impaired driving and motor vehicle accidents. Results generated on the Integrity One are pushed to our mobile app that includes inputs for the documentation of impairment signs and symptoms, including video evidence. This represents powerful standalone evidence in the event of test refusal and integrates into current law enforcement protocols. The market opportunity here is absolutely huge. The drugs of abuse testing market is projected to reach almost $12 billion by 2025. This market is broadly segmented into 3 categories: law enforcement, workforce, and clinical drug testing. And we want to be in all three of them. We selected law enforcement for market entry because the FDA does not require clearance for drug tests labeled for law enforcement use only. We used Canada as an analog to estimate the size of this market, and Canada's Bill C-45 legalized cannabis, and the following bill, C-46, allocated $81 million to combat drug-impaired driving and to purchase drug detection technology. By scaling Canada's budget to the population of the top 10 GDP countries around the globe, we estimate that our addressable market to be somewhere around $4 billion and our obtainable market to be approximately $1 billion. Moreover, as a platform technology, the Integrity One analysis system has utility in the wider point of care and vitro diagnostic testing market, valued at almost $50 billion globally. There are three main competitors making instrumented drug test systems specifically for law enforcement, but the Integrity One analysis system is the only choice. Our platform can test for more drugs in either a matrix of saliva or whole blood for either screening or confirmatory analysis. It requires a lower volume of biofluids that is quick and easy to collect. And we have app-based efficiency tools to document impairment, signs, and symptoms. Not only that, but we are offering our instrument at a lower price point than the competition, but with competitive pricing on the consumable items. That positions procurement-based sales that require competitive bidding. Our path to winning involves completing our MVP this year and getting it into the hands of law enforcement at the earliest possible time point. NextFab's investment and mentorship in the RAPID Hardware Accelerator is helping us get there faster. Moving fast and aggressive on this is absolutely critical to take advantage of pilot testing programs being planned by multiple law enforcement agencies around the country right now. We anticipate a soft launch to early adopters in early 2022, a national launch in 2023, and a global launch in all drug testing market segments within 5 years, leading us to that billion-dollar outcome. If we take a close look this year, we secured a fully executed exclusive worldwide license from NYU in February, and our provisional patent converted to a full patent on June 11th. We are now working hard to develop an MVP that we can put in front of customers for demos and pre-sales. In mid-August, we plan to bring our MVP to the International Association of Chiefs of Police training conference on drugs, alcohol, and impaired driving. This conference is attended by law enforcement, prosecutors, traffic safety professionals, physicians, toxicologists, and represents a perfect opportunity for us to get initial market validation. We hope to walk out with pre-sales and pilot testing opportunities. And of course, we are going to continue to fundraising with a particular focus on non-dilutive funding in the form of SBIR and STTR grant opportunities. And that brings us to NextFab. We are deeply honored to be a part of NextFab's Spring 2021 Rapid Hardware Accelerator. During this program, we were able to complete system integration steps for our instrument, including development of a custom circuit board and a redesign of our optical system for higher performance and lower cost. We also completed an industrial design project, giving our initial concept a more product-oriented look and feel. And now we are prototyping our instrument to prepare for a major law enforcement conference that represents a launch event for our company. NextFab's investment and mentorship helped us accomplish our technology development goals, redefine our business model, and prepare for next steps. Not only that, but we are able to expand our network, gain a growing list of mentors, and learned a tremendous amount from the other startup companies in our cohort, Algenair, Pristine, and Vasco Vision. Again, I'm Glennon Simmons, and we are Portable Diagnostic Systems. Portable Diagnostic Systems was founded as a result of a shared passion, creativity, and drive to improve public health and society in a meaningful way, and we are working to revolutionize drug testing. You can learn more about the company and our technology at www.portabledx.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Glennon. Let's see.
And are you able to see the questions that are coming in?
I am.
Oh, okay. I just saw. I didn't get a notification at first.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Glennon, they ask, love the branding and design language. What do you anticipate your biggest hurdle to getting in the hands of LEOs will be? Purchasing power at the agencies?
Yeah, so the person that makes the decision is the chief of police. You've got to find someone who is really interested in solving problems, who is kind of a visionary, and we think that this conference will allow us to meet those types of chiefs of police that really want to improve their city and save lives. And that's not everyone. There's a lot of focus on other issues in law enforcement right now, but we think that just meeting those people, getting out there in front of them is a challenge, and that's why these conferences are so important. They're razor focused on the issue and the problem that we're solving, and we want to be there. So after that, there is a process for adopting new technology. It's not as rigorous as the FDA, but we do have to collect a tremendous amount of data. And then you would go through a legal process called a FRI hearing, and that's where you defend your data in court. After that, you have a legal ability to sell and to have your technology used. So we're preparing for that, again, similar to the FDA, in that we're collecting validation data.
Great. And then Karen asks, would voters approve law enforcement having this tool?
When people get arrested for impaired driving, they fight like hell. They don't want the penalties associated with it, but it's really bad in the sense that bodies are stacking up because of this issue. And so I think there's a fight between, I guess, the people that want to keep the road safe and the people that really think this is an overreach. Each state has different laws and different rules. We're trying hard to address, I guess, the states first that have a more easy entry for us. But we think that saving lives is a reason to put this technology out there, and the general public, city and state governments will see the utility. And that's why governments are ultimately funding these kind of pilot testing programs right now. Thanks for the question, Karen. I appreciate that. And I'm just now seeing them. For some reason, it's not scrolling down automatically as questions are asked.
All right, it looks like there are no additional questions. So thank you, Glenn, for this presentation. Again, folks will be able to join you in the virtual networking space in a few minutes. Maybe I can just quickly switch back. Just give me a second. Thank you all once again for joining today's session. Despite the technical difficulties, we'll be recording the session and sharing the recording with the folks who registered for the event but were not able to join. In any case, you'll be able to connect with the companies by going to their websites and just learning a little bit more about what they do. So again, I would like to thank our accelerator sponsors, KPMG Spark and UPS, for all the support that they have provided. And I would like to invite you all to join the virtual networking space. NextFab will be accepting applicants for our future cohorts starting in the next few weeks. So if any of you know of a company, or maybe you're running a company that needs the kind of product development support and investment that NextFab can provide, we would love to talk to you. So just go to our website, subscribe for updates, get in touch with us, and you can also even talk with me after these presentations today. I'll be happy to provide you with information about the program. And with that, again, thank you so much for joining the session. It was great having these 4 companies in our program. They did a spectacular job building their products, growing their teams, and we're super excited about the future of these companies